Hello. Today, strawberries. One of my absolute favourite things to eat, and actually also quite a fun thing to crochet. I just love them. There's something about the red and the white, I think, and the green. I love it. Absolutely love it. This was a wreath that I made for my book, and again, one of my favourites, I think. But actually, last summer, I also just crocheted lots of strawberries and put them in a big bowl in the middle of the table as a decoration, and that looked really effective as well. So today, I'm just going to show you how to make the strawberries, leaves and flowers. That's all in the pattern as well if you want to do that. But today, I'm just going to show you how to make a very simple strawberry. I have got some yarn here. I can't actually remember what that one is. I think I can't remember, but again, it doesn't really matter. Just a double knit or a 4-ply, whatever you prefer to work with. Just use the corresponding hook size to go with it. Right, let me get my bits together and I will be back here in a minute. Okay, so here we are. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the magic ring. And into that magic ring, we're going to work 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold on to your stitches with your thumb and pull the short tail just to close that up. Right, we're going to have a tapered shape, so our increase is going to be slightly different to if we were just doing a regular circle. At the end of round 2, we need 6 stitches. So to get that, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first and 2 double crochets into the second stitch. We can do that twice and that will give us 6 stitches. So let me show you. 1 double crochet into the first stitch. 2 and 3 into that second stitch. Can be a little bit fiddly this first round, but it does get easier. So there's 2 and 3 in that second stitch. Stitch 4 is in the next stitch on its own. Stitch 5 and stitch 6 are in the next stitch together, 5 and 6. So that ends the second round with 6 stitches. Round 3 is just a straight round, no increases, and we're just going to work 6 double crochet. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you can see now there's already a little point beginning to form. Round 4, we want to end up with 9 stitches. We're going to do the same increase pattern as we did before. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into the first stitch and then 2 into the next stitch. We're going to do that 3 times and then we'll have got ourselves to 9 stitches. So 1 on its own, 2 and 3 together, 4 on its own, 5 and 6 together, 7 on its own, 8 and 9 together. And that brings us to the end of that round. Whoops. We're now going to increase again because the tapering shape is getting slightly wider as we head up the strawberry. For this one, we're going to increase slightly differently. We want 12 stitches at the end of this round. And to do that, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first stitch, 1 double crochet in the second stitch, and then 2 double crochets in the third stitch. So we'll do it together. So 1 on its own, 2 on its own, 3 and 4 together in that next stitch, 5 on its own, 6 on its own, 7 and 8 in the next stitch together, 9 on its own, 10 on its own, 11 and 12 together. So you can see we're really beginning to get that shape now. We're now going to do another round with no increases, so just 12 double crochet all the way round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Another row of increases now, and we want it to keep getting bigger. So how are we going to do that? We're going to do 1 double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochet into the 4th stitch. At the end of this round we're going to end up with 15 stitches, so I'm going to count as I go. So 1 on its own, 2 on its own, 3 on its own, 4 and 5 together, 6 on its own, 7 on its own, 8 on its own, 9 and 10 together, 11 on its own, 12 on its own, 13 on its own, 14 and 15 together. Can you see we're really beginning to get that strawberry shape now? We want another non-increase round, so we're just going to do 15 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So we've now come to the widest part of the strawberry, and what we'd want to start doing now is to decrease just a tiny bit to pull the strawberry back in at the top. So to do that, we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of the first 3 stitches, and then we're going to decrease by working 2 stitches together. Let me show you, and we're going to finish up at the end of this round with 12 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, all of those are just double crochets on their own. We're now going to decrease, so pull up 1 loop in the next stitch, pull up 1 loop in the second stitch, yarn over and join them together. That makes your 4th stitch. So then we're going to do 5 on its own, 6 on its own, 7 on its own, and then another decrease. So pull up one, pull up another in the next stitch, yarn over, decrease, and that's your 8th stitch. Whoops. 9's on its own, 10's on its own, 11 is on its own, 12, 30, that becomes your decrease. So that has now taken us down to 12 stitches, and you can see I'm just going to tuck that little end in there just to try and make it easier for you to see what's going on here. Quite fiddly, and I've chosen a particularly fine yarn to do this in. I think this must be a 4-ply I'm using. So again, you might find, you know, if you want to make your very first strawberry, you might want to do it with a slightly bigger yarn, just so that you can practice it. And then if you want to go finer, obviously, you'll have understood the pattern. So there we are. That has got us up to the widest part of the strawberry. We then decreased in one round just to kind of knit the strawberry in at the top. So what I'm now going to do is to get a little bit of toy stuffing. This is just regular toy stuffing, and push some inside your strawberry. I think we'll make him a nice fat strawberry. Push it down as much as you can. It's always quite surprising, I think, how much stuffing things take. There we go. So that's given him a nice little plumpness. And now we just want to close him up. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to work decreases all the way around. So in exactly the same way that we just did. So just decrease, decrease. Stuffing's getting in the way a bit because I'm rushing it a bit to show you. Decrease, decrease, and if you do that 6 times, that will pretty much close up the hole for you. And then what I would do is slip stitch in there, snip that off, oops, and pull it through. And then you might find it's easier to close the very top just by stitching that together. But you can see that has given you a perfect little strawberry shape. What we need to work on now is the top, the little green leaf top for the strawberry. So to do that, take your green. Again, this is really, really simple. We're going to start off with a magic ring. And into that magic ring, we're going to work 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hold the stitches with your thumb and pull it closed. And then to close that circle, just slip stitch into the first stitch. I did that first one a little bit tight. Okay, there we go, he's gone in. Slip stitch through and just close that circle up. Okay, because that's the very centre of your strawberry top. Now, we just need to make the little spiky leaves. So we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And starting in the second chain from the hook, we're just going to slip stitch back down to the base of that chain. So 1 slip stitch, 2 slip stitch, 3, and 4. And then so that we can continue on around and make the next one, slip stitch into the next stitch on that central ring. Pull it up, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch back down towards the base. One more in there, and slip stitch into the next stitch on the central circle. So you can see we're beginning to get those little kind of pointy leaves that you get on the top of the strawberry. Another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slip stitch back down. Oh, whoops. We're going to make a total of 5 of these little pointy leaves. Or in there, slip stitch into the next one, chain 5, slip stitch, slip stitch, slip stitch, and slip stitch. Slip stitch into the next stitch on that central circle, and then we're just going to work our 5th point. 5 chains, slip stitch back, and slip stitch back to where you started from. I'm going to snip our end, and there you have it. It's almost like a little green starfish. So that stitches directly onto the top of your strawberry. Very simple to do. And then to add a finishing touch, if you want to, it doesn't need it, but it does look quite nice. You can find a thin white yarn and just stitch lots of little running stitches going downwards all around your strawberry for the seeds. And actually that would look just as lovely in a gold colour as well. And that completes the little strawberry. Very, very simple, very quick, but very effective.